when you see someone's piece, their style is the feeling that the piece gives to you. It's a story that the piece tells you about who that person is or how it was painted or the situation it was painted in. A good family friend of Jurne's passed away. I had written Let Go before, and he had done Heal pieces, and it seemed appropriate to combine the two in commemoration of a dear family friend of his.
It's like, oh, I look at pieces I did 10 years ago and I know like how I was feeling back then. I remember what I was going through, and I look at pieces now and I can tell what I was feeling, and like to me that's style. It's like Jurne. If you know Jurne and then you see his pieces, you're like, dude, that's totally him, and I've known Jurne since he was 17 years old. I gave him his word, Seeing him evolve as a kid to a man, like you see his pieces now and that piece is like him. His personality saturates through that piece.
Everyone does something in life, right? I think most people have hobbies or passions or an interest, and they follow that to different degrees. And mine has been writing graffiti. If you put passion, if you put yourself into whatever you do, and you're a good person in general, then I think whatever you do, regardless of the social stigma surrounding it, you end up having a positive influence on people because you inspire them, or the way that you talk about what you do, you're pleasant to be around, and so people find meaning and value in that. I try not to paint anything that's going to ruin anyone's day. I don't want to piss people off. I definitely don't want to piss the working man or woman off. I don't have any intentions of bumming people out. So I try to pick my spots, what I write, how I go about doing graffiti in a way where I hope other people who are not writers can appreciate it. That's my naive desire. If you want to make a contribution to graffiti and graffiti history, I think it's really important to be able to talk about graffiti in a way that other artists talk about whatever art that they're doing, be it painting or sculpture or poetry. I think that graffiti is a young art form, but I think there's a lot of maturing that will happen and should happen with graffiti, and I think that part of that maturing has to do with people being willing to talk about style and their own development as writers, and to be able to situate their work within the context of what has occurred before them, and in doing so also differentiate themselves from their predecessors where they deviate from certain veins of style, where they contribute unique things. I think that will benefit each of those writers in their own way, and also graffiti writing as a culture. I do research by day. I work in a lab doing cell biology. I think now, in the past 2 years, is the first time that I felt this real conflict between doing graffiti and pursuing other things, because my investment in doing graffiti has grown along with my investment in doing other things, to the point where being a writer and also being a scientist seemed really antagonistic to one another, and the next stage in doing graffiti versus the next stage in doing science can't survive together. You know, I'd have to give my all to one or the other. I just think it's impossible to go out, paint all night, come back, go to bed at 5 a.m, and be uptight enough to worry about your spot getting buffed the next morning. So you make yourself get up at 8:30 or 9 to go get day flicks as soon as the light comes up, and you can get a day flick, and then your whole next day is shot. It's hard to do both things. It is a socially ostracizing thing to do. And so, on one hand, it's been really wonderful. I wouldn't change anything, but I've maintained like kind of a dual identity as doing this academic thing and then doing graffiti. But being so invested in doing graffiti has ostracized me without a doubt from my peers in the academic world. So I would say, like, I haven't delved into, you know, having tons of friends or close personal relationships with people that weren't writers, just because it's something I'm so obsessed about, and it's so socially stigmatized that it's hard to share that side of you with people who don't understand. think the buff is inevitable. I think it's dope. I think the buff is a way of like keeping graffiti writers humble.